All right, so hello. Today is March 5th, and today marks the day after my very first chemo round for this third time around the block for me of having breast cancer. So I wanted to just do a video and let you guys know like how I feel, what I what happened yesterday during the chemo, what I've been doing, and what my plan is, and if I've had any side effects and all of that stuff today. So, like I said, today is the morning after chemo. I wanted to do a video yesterday during chemo, and then kind of like right after, but I couldn't because well, I could have did it kind of sort of during, but I kind of, it was like when I got there, it's kind of like go go go, and I got the chemo, and then that had some issues with that, and then so when I got home I was really sleepy, really tired, so that didn't happen. So I decided I wanted to get on here as soon as I can right after to do this video. Okay, so yesterday was the first treatment. It was March 4th. I got there. I got all the pre-stuff done. You have to get there, and they access your port, take blood, so they could do blood tests to see what your levels are at that moment. Had that done. And then once they do the test on the blood, because you do it on site, once they did all the tests for my blood, then it was time to get some pre-drugs. And so at the time, it was only, the plan was just to get 2 pre-drugs. And so I kind of got those, and then everything was okay. And the 2 pre-drugs that I got, let me see, I'm trying to make sure I wrote stuff down because I will forget. So the 2 pre-drugs I got, the Aloxi, and then the Cadron, I think I'm saying that right. And I think it's called dexamethasone is another word for it. And another word for the Paloxy is I think it's polynocetron. Okay, so those are the things that I got that were like my pre-drugs. So, and like they're steroids. Is basically kind of what they are. They're steroids, and one of them, which was the last one that I got, which was the Cadron, which is the dexamethasone. Oh my gosh, that one, they pushed, that one was pushed through the IV via needle. So that one wasn't like an IV drip. That one was pushed through the IV, and that one was very weird. The first one was fine, which was the Aloxi, that was fine, but that dexamethasone, oh my gosh, when it went in, it went in fine, but then when it went in and it started to flow through my body, all of a sudden I started to itch. Like my butt had an itch. My lady was itching. Then all of a sudden, like the rim of my head would itch, like around my scalp was itching. That was weird. Then and then like I had like little itches, little pricklies, like kind of throughout, and then it just went away. Like it gradually went away though, but it did go away. But I just thought it was weird. I don't know if I ever had that stare before or what, but it did cause like slight itching, which it wasn't comfortable. It got intense at one point. It like gradually came and it intensified, and then it like gradually went away. But it was different for me. I never had that before. I don't think I ever had that drug before. I definitely never had that reaction before. It was a reaction that you would remember. And then so after that, the blood work came back fine, pushed the pre-drugs fine. So then it was time to start the chemo. So after they or start the treatments rather, because after you do the pre-drugs and everything, your chemo has to be like made for you on site. Things are not like ready to pop, I'm ready to go. So my chemo is IV. Some chemo can be peel form, but mine is IV form. And so before I did the actual chemo drugs, like I said, I'm starting a new, this is a new treatment plan for me. I've never had any of these drugs before as far as chemo and the treatments before. So then the first one that they pushed through was the actual immunotherapy treatment, because I am getting an immunotherapy treatment also this time. I've never had that before. So in the purpose of the that is the immunotherapy is to try to like help my immune system to try to tackle the cancer as well. So the immunotherapy that they had me on is the Keytruda. That one was fine. I didn't have any lasting, effects from it. I didn't feel anything when it went in. So I thought that went okay. So that lasted about 20 minutes for the Keytruda. Like I said, which is not a chemo, but it is immunotherapy that my doctor is trying this time. Other than me doing straight chemo like I did in the past, I've never had immunotherapy. So we did the Keytruda, and then after Keytruda went through and that went fine. The next one that I got was I'm gonna try to say this, the carboplatin. Carboplatin is what I got. Another name for it is a paraplatin. That went through fine. That took like 30 minutes too. That push went through fine. That was IV. That went through fine. I didn't have any reaction to that at all. I didn't think I did anyway. I felt pretty fine. I handled it pretty fine. That came right after the Keytruda, went right into the carboplatin, and I don't remember like feeling anything from that one. So that went great. Went fine. I was on my phone watching Netflix, and I was, watching the show with my husband. He wasn't allowed to be in there because of COVID and everything. He can't sit with me. In the past, he used to sit by my side, but he was waiting in the waiting area outside, and so we decided to watch Netflix together. So we're texting back and forth about the Netflix show. So I was into the show, so I didn't have any any rejections to the Keytruda or the carboplatin. So after the carboplatin was over, I then was time to do the third treatment, which is chemo. So the carboplatin is chemo, and this next one is chemo. Like I said, the Keytruda is not chemo, it is immunotherapy. So had the carboplatin, it was time to go to the next chemo, which was the last one for today. And it is called gemcitabine. Is the name of it. Gemcitabine. And they went right into that after the carboplatin. When it went into it, maybe like 10 minutes of having it, I reacted. I started to itch over my body, and then my face. I got like a hive under here, and it's still kind of red a little bit. You can kind of see it, but I got red here. I got a hive that came up, my whole face, all of it, all of this was reacted. All of it got really tight and itchy. My arms, my chest was itchy. Then all of a sudden, when I would swallow, my throat started to feel really, really dry for some reason. And then I tried to breathe in. Then I could feel my throat like closing up. And first I thought it was like me, because I always don't want to be like the one to go, in chemo, like the problem child. I don't, because sometimes there's other people there, and I don't want to like, be the problem child. But so I felt my throat, and then so I took my mask off, and I still could feel the tightness coming in my throat. So then I, looked in my little mirror, my purse, and then I saw that my face had a hive on it, and it was kind of red, but then I was like feeling tight. So then I had to raise my hand, and then the nurses came over, and I told them what I was experiencing, and then they saw like a half of my face and like the redness and then the itching over my body, and then so they immediately stopped the chemo, and then they called the doctor immediately, and then he told them to start pushing the Benadryl, so I had IV Benadryl, pushed through, and I think the Benadryl was like, oh my gosh, I can't tell you what it was, like the strength, like how much, but Benadryl IV is like no joke, because I've had it before in the past when I've had reactions to medication, and it is it will like it will put you out like that. I don't know if it's just me, because I am a lightweight though, but it like always kind of like I'm tired after that, because I was fine, and then I did the IV push of the Benadryl, and it makes me talkative at first. So I was very, very talkative with the nurse staff, telling them all this stuff. So it made me very, very talkative at first. And then after that, like, I just remember my head being so heavy and dropping. And then I was like sleep, really, really sleepy. And then they asked me how I felt. And then the itching subsided. I wasn't no longer itching. My throat felt better. And then so what we decided to do after then was to go ahead and start the chemo back. And it's kind of sounds, scary, but the same one, yes, that made me react. I had to finish it. I have to finish it. So that's why they give you the Benadryl. So I had to finish it. So I finished the gemcitabine, and I was asleep the rest of it, because that takes 30 minutes too. So the last 20 minutes, the Benadryl knocked me out. I was asleep. I didn't feel anything from the gemcitabine rather. And when they woke me up, I was done. It was time to go home. I had my port flushed out. They flush your port with like saline water, and they put like I think it's called heparin. They put heparin in it, like a blood thinner, to make sure like no blood is left like in the port, and it flushes through you. They also do that. They also flush your port and everything before you have chemo also. I failed to mention that. But they also do that too. So I had that, got the bandage on, my husband got me to the car. The nurses and my husband got me to the car, and I got home. By the time I got home, I was very, very sleepy, very tired, of course, because of the Benadryl. So I couldn't make the video yesterday. I was super duper tired. And that was how the chemo itself went. So the chemo and immunotherapy went yesterday. Had the chemo, had the immunotherapy. Last one, tried to take me out. So I had a reaction to that, and so, but now I feel, I don't feel itchy. I don't have, I have just a little red here, but I'm fine. My throat feels fine too. Now I would say the carboplatin and the gemcitabine side effects could be that I lose my hair. That is a side effect that could happen. The doctor said that it might happen, it may not. And I feel like in the past, when I've had chemo in the past, I feel like they always kind of say that. And they always say like, oh, it could happen. And so sometimes people get their wishes up, their hopes up, like, well, my hair may not fall out. I don't know. I feel like people get their hopes up because they tell them that it could or it can't. Mine's always fell out. I haven't had that. I haven't had any abnormal shedding yet. But in the past, even though I never had these chemo drugs, in the past my hair has always fallen out. So if it falls out this time, I won't be surprised. Fall out, it's gonna grow back. I'll be fine. I'll just be bald. Good thing though, because summer is coming. So that's a plus. So at least I won't be bald in the winter. I've done it before, and that's very cold. So that could be, a side effect that could be coming. It has to work through. Usually in my past two previous times I had chemo, my hair didn't come out until after the second full treatment. So it seems, fine that I still have it now. No abnormal shedding or anything yet. so we'll see. So overall, right now, I'll say I feel fine. I do feel fine. I don't feel overly fatigued or tired, which is a good thing because the Benadryl has worn off. I do have nausea medicine just in case I start to feel nauseated, like I can't hold meals down. So I'll take the nausea medicine if I need to. I try not, my whole thing, even in life other than chemo, I just try not to take a lot of medication, period. Even if in treatment, if I don't have to take it, I won't take it. I'll try not to take it. I just don't want to overload my body with a whole lot of medication. So I just try to take medication if I really need it. But so that was what happened yesterday during chemo, and that what has been happening to me this morning and how I feel now. So that you're caught up with that. And then also what I've been doing, I have been pushing a lot of fluids. In the past, especially water, in the past of chemo, like I said, they give you the steroids. The steroids help with the days after. It can't help with how you feel. You can feel fine. Usually around the third day or the fourth day after chemo is when you can feel some side effects, and they can get severe. In the past, they did get severe for me. So what I had learned I didn't do it in my first treatments of chemo in 2009. I didn't do it, and I felt terrible, like I couldn't work. I felt really bad, really sick all the time. I had the puking, I had the diarrhea, I had everything, a lot with the first chemos in 2009, which was my first battle with breast cancer. Then in 2015, when I was having chemo treatments, I drank a lot of water during the chemo push, the days after, and so that one I felt a little better. I had side effects, very much so, because that chemo that I got in 2009, 2015 were very, very harsh. They were all the chemos that you hear about. This one they call the Red Devil because it comes as red in a red bag. I had that, and it was very, very strong. I don't have to have that this time. That's not on the plan for me to have that this time, rather. But I did have that in the past, and that was strong. I'm not having it this time, so I'm hoping everything goes good. But I do know that I do have steroids in me now, which is probably why I do feel, which contributes to why I believe why I do feel sort of fine right now, But so that is my plan, to eat small meals so I won't overload myself, and so I won't get too nauseated, and to drink the water. And also partial of my plan is to rest, to definitely get a lot of rest. My husband has been really, really, great with it, and the kids are awesome with it too. Like I said, I came home and I went straight to bed, and my husband, wake me up just to eat something. So that's my plan, to eat small meals, get plenty of rest, drink plenty of fluids. That is it. That's all I have.